Big and wide shoulders not only make the body attractive, also increase your strength so that you can do the exercises better. But despite all these shoulder exercises, you can't understand which exercise really works. You can have bigger shoulders by choosing the right exercises and knowing which part of your shoulder muscles to train. In this video, I will introduce you to 6 of the best shoulder exercises that will make your shoulders bigger and wider than ever. But before we go for the exercises, let's check the shoulder muscle. Deltoid has 3 main heads, including the anterior deltoid or the front deltoid, which usually people have more growth in the front deltoid than the rest of the head. And the reason is that any exercise you do for your chest, your front deltoid is also activated. This means that less emphasis should be have a front deltoid, and we should emphasize more on the lateral deltoid, which is bigger than the rest of the heads, and the most important muscle for having wider shoulders. The posterior deltoid, or rear deltoid, is located behind your shoulders. In order to have bigger shoulders, we have to grow all 3 heads. So let's start the first exercise for the lateral deltoid, which is the cable lateral raise. It is the best exercise you can do for the side delt. With excellent range of motion and deep stretch in the side delt, you can even adjust the cable to the height of your hand to maximize the stretch. Because your arm and the cable form a 90-degree angle, the tension increases. All lateral raise variations are beneficial, but cable lateral raises have some unique benefits. Cable machines can make exercises more challenging as the cables provide constant tension, unlike free weights where tension can vary throughout the exercise as it relies on gravity. This can make cable variations more efficient for muscle hypertrophy and strength. If you cannot use the cable for any reason, replace this exercise with dumbbell lateral raises, and it stretches your lateral deltoid as much as the cable lateral raise. The researchers even compared the 2 exercises for 8 weeks, and their research was such that they asked the participants to do the 2 exercises with one hand dumbbell lateral raises and with the other hand cable lateral raise. And they took the size of lateral deltoid hypertrophy, and it was almost the same in both exercises. What I want to say is that dumbbell lateral raises are as useful for your shoulders as cable lateral raises. And the second exercise for the side delt is the cross-body cable Y raise. I know you are saying now that this is the same exercise as the previous one with a slightly more forward angle, but let me explain. Research shows that your shoulders may have 7 different heads, all of which they are activated independently by your nervous system, which means that with a little change in your technique and angle, you can target areas of your side delt that you probably didn't target before. Let me show you the difference from the previous exercise. Instead of standing next to the cable, take a step back and move your hand forward so that it is in front of the cable. Pull your hand out and back. This will increase the range of motion and stretch. Let's move on to the front deltoid exercises. The first exercise for the front deltoid is the machine shoulder press. The feature of this exercise compared to other exercises is that your stability increases when you sit, which causes all the tension to be directed to the shoulders. It also makes you take your deltoid to the point of failure without losing weight control. If you are training for hypertrophy, this is the exercise that is recommended for your front deltoid. If you don't have machine shoulder press in your gym, you can have the same effect with dumbbell shoulder press. But what you should pay attention to in this exercise is that you have to do it correctly because you have to have stability and the right angle to stretch on the front deltoid. And in order to have the right angle, push your elbows inwards so that your palms are facing each other. If you have not done this exercise before, start with light weight and gradually increase it. The second exercise for the front deltoid is the overhead press. It is an exercise that increases the strength of the upper body and stretches the shoulders very well. Many people think that this exercise only targets the front deltoid, but research has shown that although there is a very good activation on the front deltoid, you can see significant activation on the side deltoid and little on the posterior deltoid. The problem that many have in doing this movement is that it is not stable because it is done while standing, and your lower body must work to maintain your balance. There is an easy way to do this, and that is to perform it while sitting. And if for any reason you can't do this movement with a barbell, you can do standing dumbbell overhead press, which is as good as other exercises. Even one of the articles in 2013 compared different types of overhead presses, and standing dumbbell overhead press is more activating than other exercises. It was not only in the front deltoid, but in all three deltoids. But the disadvantage of this exercise is that it is difficult to add weight. Let's go to the posterior deltoid before I introduce the exercise. I have to say one thing. The posterior deltoid is like the front deltoid. When you train your chest, the front deltoid is activated, and if you train your back properly, the posterior deltoid is well engaged. The first exercise is the reverse cable crossover. This is one of the best exercises for the rear delt, with amazing stretch and great range of motion. Usually people think that the rear deltoid is less important, which is a mistake, because in order to get bigger shoulders, you have to train all three heads of the shoulder, or they can't target the muscle properly. But with this exercise, you can activate the rear deltoid well and put a good tension on the muscle. To do the cable crossover correctly, stand in the center of a cable crossover apparatus with your feet shoulder width apart. Cross your arms in front of you and grab the left handle with your right hand and the right handle with your left hand. Step back slightly to create tension in the cables. While maintaining a slight bend in your elbows, pull your arms out and back until they align with your shoulders. Slowly return to the starting position, keeping tension on the cables and controlling the movement. The second exercise for the rear deltoid is the reverse pec deck. What I like about this movement is that it has constant tension, because by fixing the rack on the machine, all the tension is directed to your rear deltoid. And with a few simple tips, you can increase the stretch and range of motion. Raise the chair instead of sitting straight. Pull your hips back and place your chest on the pad. This way, the angle of your hand will line up with the rear deltoid. One of the positive things about this exercise compared to exercises with barbells and dumbbells is that you can feel the tension directly. In exercises with barbells or dumbbells, your hands and body are not stable and the stretch is spread a little. But in reverse pec deck, it is not like that at all. You can feel the stretch well in the posterior deltoid. And this was the best exercise you can do for your shoulder muscles. And among these exercises, cable lateral raise. I definitely suggest you to do it because it is the best exercise that can engage your lateral deltoid. And as I said, lateral deltoid is very important for having bigger shoulders because it is the larger of those two muscles, which makes your shoulders appear wider, and it is less targeted than the front deltoid and the posterior deltoid for the same reasons I said. Thank you for being with us so far in the video. If you want to know what are the best exercises for biceps, click on this video. Bye until the next video.